Okay. So, Volume 2 of Stranger Things 5 came out almost exactly 3 days ago, as of me making this. It was episodes 5, 6, and 7. And, well, I have many thoughts. I will probably come back to the season and the series as a whole in another video, but I think it'll be in a different context once the finale comes out, so I just wanted to make this now. So, without further ado, here are my thoughts. Immediately it feels like this season was written, or at the very least structured, around its release schedule, but then very suddenly it breaks this. An example of what I mean is the end of episode 4 is Will discovering his powers, killing 3 Demogorgons after Vecna gives his speech, and episode 5 opens on flashbacks to the same thing. So this probably would fuck with someone who didn't watch them in this same schedule, but whatever. It's a cool moment that I don't totally mind seeing again, but surely then the pacing of the episodes would have to follow this rule as well, right? We've kept a pretty fast pace for the first 4, and oh, what's that? Oh, they slow the plot to a near screeching halt? Oh, okay. What? This would make good enough sense if they were just scheduled independent of how the season is structured, but it doesn't seem to be that way at all. It seems like all of these moments are kind of manufactured in you having just waited almost a month to see them. But then all of a sudden they pace the season as if you're just watching it all the way through normally. I don't know. It's a small nitpick, but it's something that just kind of threw me off in watching the episodes. It just feels really weird. You know, the show leans pretty heavily on character moments, but even with that, the plot is basically at a standstill this entire volume. The only actual progression that we get is characters realizing stuff. Like, we ended Volume 1 on Vecna taking the kids and Will having powers. We know that Vecna wanted to do something using the kids the same way he used Will. And we get the same thing by the end of this volume. Nothing is actually moved forward in any significant way in the story of the gang versus Vecna. There are really only 2 things that happen plot-wise from episode 5 to 7. One is Max wakes up, and 2, in the literal last scene of the volume, Vecna starts his plan. Other than that, it is just entirely realizations and stuff we kind of figured was gonna happen anyway. It's not necessarily interesting, it's just obscure fanfare of scenes that don't really push the story forward, more just stuff that would probably happen off screen and nothing would change. So with that, why not just condense all of this down into 2 episodes and then have another episode to push the story forward? I feel like that would have just felt more natural than what we got, because then you could keep all the important character moments. The slowness and the pacing would make sense, but at least then it wouldn't feel so much like the story was just being halted as they just bide their time into the finale. And I guess I am being a bit harsh in this criticism, because I'm sure these episodes will just feel different once it's a full season and we have more context from the finale. But again, a lot of beats and moments fully depend on waiting a while before you see them, so it's just kind of uncommitted in both ways. And you know what, I was gonna wait to talk about this until the next video, but I am completely fucking infuriated with how they handled Will's character in these episodes. And this is one of those things that I brought up earlier where it slightly feels like this was an issue with the whole season or just the show at large, but especially so with this, where it feels genuinely like the Duffer Brothers aren't collaborating by working on stuff at the same time, but instead just compartmentalizing different chunks of the story between each brother, except one brother just sucks complete fucking ass. And I don't know why, but I think the garbage one is Matt. But like, it doesn't make sense. Like, one minute the visuals will be absolutely fucking gorgeous, and then the next dialogue will be god-awful exposition dump one moment, tear-jerking perfection in the next. God, I love this fucking scene. Will's character in this volume, I feel like, did the exact same thing, like it was handed off to the shit brother. If you've been online since Volume 1 came out and you have seen anything about Stranger Things, it probably has been the constant shipping of Byler, as these delusioned, potentially psychosis-driven children insisted that Will and Mike are going to date in this season. Now, through all of this, I vehemently disagreed. Volume 1 had gotten my hopes up in the capability of the writers, and I had said, no, it won't happen. Mike and Will not end up together, because that isn't the most interesting story to be told here. They're going to go with the most prevalent and impactful option. And, I was right. They didn't do Byler. So Yeah. But the other part, that Will ends episode 4 finally coming to terms with himself. He accepts his sexuality and overall himself, and he is okay with it. This is what finally allows him to overcome this mental block he's had the whole series, unlock goddamn superpowers, and have one of the most hype scenes I've seen in a while. Akin in my mind only to the Avengers Assemble scene in Endgame, or the 3 Spider-Men landing in No Way Home, or when the Minions in the movie Minions discover the word banana. It's not even necessarily cinema, it's just scenes that are filled with this, oh, fuck yeah, dude, energy, that are just so fun and cool that they get your mind racing. But it really is a moving sequence from start to finish. Robin's speech is pretty relevant and hard-hitting in the best way possible, and the VHS sequence and what follows just makes you feel happy for Will. And then they completely fucking backtrack on that part of the arc completely. In Volume 2, Will was shown by Vecna a false vision of the future where he comes out to everyone and there are lasting repercussions to it. This somehow changes him in being okay with himself, though, even though true acceptance would kind of feel more like it would just conflict with other people's perspectives, but whatever. I guess the episode 4 ending just gets undone. And in trying to prove Vecna wrong, he does come out to everybody. Every single fucking character is there. Please, if you disagree with me, right? Go into the comments and tell me what the fuck Murray added to this scene. Fuck, even like most of the actual main characters, like I feel like 11 didn't even have to be there. Like, Lucas didn't have to be there. Hopper didn't have to be there, because these are not characters that mean anything to Will actually coming out. The only people that really needed to be in this scene were Will, Mike, and Joyce. Right? Those are the 3 you needed. You can really push it if you want to throw the whole core party in there. But what the fuck does anyone add to this scene? I'll tell you what, there were actually nothing. There were no consequences to Will's fear, and therefore no reason for them to really change the plot on Will's arc. It was just kind of, I don't know. I can't get over that. Will undoes this powerful acceptance moment only to be scared of something that Vecna shows him, a problem that has absolutely 0 stakes, because nothing fucking comes of it. Everyone just hugs him, and that's kind of the end of the scene. Not only is this abso-fucking-lutely not what would happen if a kid came out as gay in rural Indiana in the 80s, a concept inadvertently established in the same volume, mind you, but story-wise, this is just so weak and pointless. Nothing really comes of the conflict in Will having feelings for Mike, and judging by the facial expressions Mike has in this scene, he seems to get that the crush that Will had was him, but he just tries to comfort him, so nothing comes from that. Nobody has any issue, and nothing comes from it whatsoever. The only thing that really changes from this is that Will is now going to be present in the final fight with Kali and 11 against Vecna, but it's just really disappointing, honestly. But even in this, there were some bright spots in this volume. The occasional but tremendous performances, despite the lackluster writing, have always been a pillar of the show. And I think especially Gaten Matarazzo and Joe Keery's scene was genuinely beautiful. The scene with Natalia Dyer and Charlie Keaton was masterfully done. Noah Schnapp, despite his Zionism, earned a second chance from me with how absolutely hard he's clutching up this season. Jamie Campbell-Bower is amazing in this. Holy fuck, put him in everything. Murray is the exception, though. Every line that he's had after season 2 just pisses me the fuck off. Fuck you, Murray. No, not you, Murray from Stranger Things. Yeah, you motherfucker. Maybe if you clutched up like Noah and weren't bald, I'd forgive you for how fucking annoying your actor is.
Zionism means Jews definitely welcome.
You piece of shit. But I think overall, ignoring the Will arc, these episodes do at least deliver pretty well on the expectations set by the first 4 episodes. The show definitely kept just like a strong 7.5 out of 10 over a very long period, which is pretty impressive given how absurd of a concept they ended up going for. It does feel satisfying of a conclusion from the earlier mystery and intrigue of previous seasons. But like I said though, this is really one of the many things that I have to say about this season, good and bad, that apply to the rest of the show as a whole. And I'll be doing a video in the future that will cover the finale as well as all previous seasons. That's kind of it. I still am excited to see where everything goes, but it just feels like several facets of this show are letting down a bit, and I'm worried about the cracks that are starting to show. But that's kind of all I have to say for now. Again, I have more to say about the series as a whole, but that'll be for the future. This channel has been something in the back of my mind that I've wanted to do for a while, to just talk about media I like or don't like, but I've put it off, and this anger just served as the gas to get me to actually make something. So yeah, I mean, if you're interested, subscribe, and maybe you can watch something else I make. That'll be fun. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one, I guess. This was pretty quick, but I hope you enjoyed my first video. See ya!